Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we're going to take a look at the results of time traveling Trunks Teen Future and see just how good he is after his recent Extreme Z awakening in DBZ Dokkan Battle. Now this Trunks, to cut a long story short, he's a free-to-play unit, but I think he looks pretty good. I think overall he's actually really quite solid. Obviously there are things that ideally you could improve, but I think for the most part he looks relatively reliable for harder content. He's quite good for a free-to-play unit. So he's a Future Saga lead of 77%, in-type lead of 50%, greatly raises attack and raises defense for 1 turn. He has Ki +2 attack and defense of 100% and gets an additional attack and defense of 25% and a chance of performing a crit of 5% up to 20% with each attack performed. He has a high chance of performing a critical hit when there is a Future Saga or Time Travelers category enemy, and he gets an additional 50% attack and defense when performing a super attack per Future Saga category ally on the turn, self-excluded. So it's pretty good. He can create the domain effect basically whenever he wants, if there is a Time Travelers category enemy, and then if there's not, it's from the 5th turn of battle, which is still pretty good. Honestly speaking, I think overall he still looks really quite solid. Now he's got a messenger from the future called Judgment, Royal Lineage, Dismal Future, Z Fighters, Soul vs. Soul, and Sharing the Limit. And he's on Hybrid Sands, Future Saga, Time Travelers, Vegeta's Family, Android Cell Saga, Bond of Master and Disciple, Revenge, Battle of Wits, and Trusted Will, Bond of Parent and Child, and Earthspread Fighters. His domain effect is a 10% boost over the course of 4 turns for all Future Saga category superclass allies, and yeah, pretty good stuff. Obviously, a big thing about him that I personally think is obviously super important to note is that his boost when attacking. So basically, how it works is essentially whatever he has will be doubled if he's got 2 allies on the rotation that are fulfilling the requirement. So he can have some very good defense after super. The big thing is obviously a lot of events nowadays, they hit very hard, and they hit very hard before a lot of units super, so it is quite tough. It is quite a tough experience, I think, for a lot of players and for a lot of units as well. So it is one of those things, but I think overall, in general, it's a pretty decent time. Now, one thing I will say, obviously, in regards to Trunks, is I think he is solid to a certain degree. I think there's, obviously, whenever you have a unit that's free to play, they have limited stats. But I think Trunks, at least for me as a unit overall, really strikes that fine line between really looking like a solid option. Like he really can look, at least for most content, like that he's a really good option. In fact, I really like the idea of, especially in the future red zones, and things like that, kind of starting with Trunks, having him almost just be floating to provide that 4-turn buff. A 4-turn 10% buff, especially nowadays in the way content is now, I think is very crucial. I think it can have a very big impact on your performance. I think you can definitely feel the effects of a 10% 4-turn buff. And so I do think it has a good bearing for Trunks. He can do decent damage, and the fact that he has 20% crit alongside his crit chance against Future Saga enemies, I think is good. However, obviously 20% is not the highest amount, so if you're outside of anything where you're facing Future Saga enemies, of course, then he does become a lot less effective on the offensive front. But that's not the end of the world. I think he still looks pretty solid, even in those situations. So yeah, obviously a big deal for him is called Judgment. So if you are someone who's looking to run him, you may want to consider getting Core Judgment. It's not mandatory, but it does help quite a bit. Outside of that, Dismal Future kind of keeps him covered on a Future Saga team. He's got Sharing the Limit, which is good for free-to-play units, but that's kind of about it. Overall, Royal Lineage, keeps him kind of covered. And he does also have, Messenger from the Future, but Z Fighters and Soul v Soul just aren't super impressive links, honestly. They don't really spark me with much, how can I say, they don't spark me with much inspiration. So yeah, it's pretty decent stuff, I would say. But yeah, for me overall, I think at the end of the day he looks good, he looks solid, and I think he is a very useful unit that has a very, very good kind of place as a floater on a lot of teams. So yeah, that's basically gonna be it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts on the INT Trunks. Are you happy with how they did his EZA? Do you think they could have gone a bit harder? And let me know what you think. I do think they could have maybe kind of gone a bit better with the active skill or the domain. I do think they could have made it 20% considering it was kind of already 10%. So yeah, but that's basically it. Outside of that, pretty straightforward stuff, and honestly speaking, a pretty good looking unit. So yeah, that's gonna be it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care, stay safe, and bye.